Most candidates fail CASC not because they don't know the content, but because they struggle with communication. In many stations, especially with angry relatives, talkative patients, or breaking bad news, candidates either become too passive or too structured and they lose marks. In this video, I'm going to give you a simple, practical framework you can use in almost any communication station in CASC, along with the exact phrases that you can use in the exam. Let's first understand why candidates fail these stations. The most common issue is lack of structure. Candidates go into the station without a clear plan, and the conversation becomes disorganized. The second issue is poor balance. Some candidates focus too much on empathy and allow the patient or relative to take over the conversation. Others focus only on completing the tasks and appear very robotic. The third issue is time management. CASC stations are short, and if you don't guide the conversation, you will run out of time before completing the task. And finally, many candidates forget that communication stations are not about solving everything. They are about showing safe, structured interaction. If you remember one thing from this video, it should be this. In CASC, you need both structure and empathy. Structure helps you to complete the task. Empathy helps you to build the rapport. Without structure, you're going to lose time. Without empathy, you will lose marks. So, a simple framework that you can use in most communication stations is acknowledge, validate, explore, and guide. First, acknowledge what the patient or relative is saying. Then, validate their emotions. Then, explore their concerns. And finally, guide the conversation back to your clinical task. This allows you to stay in control while still being empathetic. Let's start with a very common station, an angry relative, or a relative who wants to make a complaint. In this situation, the biggest mistake that candidates make is becoming defensive. They try to explain or justify instead of listening. Instead, your first step is to acknowledge the emotion. You might say, I can see that you are very worried and frustrated, and that's completely understandable. This immediately reduces tension. Then you explore the concern. Can you tell me what has been most concerning for you? This shows that you are listening and gives you useful information as well. Once you understand their concern, you can respond calmly. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I will review this with the team and make sure we address it. If the relative becomes aggressive, it's important to set boundaries. I want to help you, but I need us to keep this conversation respectful so we can focus on your relative's care. Remember, you are not expected to solve everything. You are expected to manage the interaction safely. Another very common challenge is a talkative patient. Here, candidates often make one of the two mistakes. They either interrupt abruptly or they allow the patient to continue and they run out of time. The skill here is redirection. Start by acknowledging. I can see this is important to you. Then validate. That sounds like it has been quite difficult. And then redirect. I would like to come back to that shortly. But first, I need to ask you a few more questions. And then focus. Can you tell me specifically about your sleep over the past week? Now, this approach allows you to maintain control without appearing rude. You can also use phrases like, just to keep us focused, let me guide us back to. I will come back to that if we have time. So these are very high yield phrases for CASC. Let's now look at another important scenario where you are asked to break a bad news. This is another high scoring station where communication is key. The first step is to give a warning shot. I'm afraid I have some difficult news to share today. This prepares the patient and then deliver the information clearly and simply, avoiding medical jargon. After that, pause. Many candidates continue talking, but silence is important here. It gives the patient time to process and then respond to the emotion. I can see this is upsetting. I'm really sorry you're going through this. And finally, offer support. We will support you through this and we can discuss the next steps together. The key here is not the exact words, but your tone, your pacing, and your empathy. So these are some of the key phrases which can help you when you are doing the station of breaking a bad news. Let's quickly go through some common mistakes. Interrupting patients abruptly, being defensive with relatives, ignoring emotional cues, and losing control of time. These are the mistakes which can quickly lead to loss of marks in CASC. Remember, examiners are not expecting perfect answers. They are looking for three things: safety, empathy, and structure. If you demonstrate these three things consistently, you are very likely to pass these stations. So to summarize, use a structured approach. Stay calm, acknowledge emotions, and guide the conversation. Communication is one of the most important skills in CASC, and mastering this can significantly improve your performance. If you want more structured approaches and practice for CASC stations, I cover these step by step in my course. And let me know in the comments which communication station do you find most difficult.